Welcome back to Hard Hat Chat. I'm Justin Smith, CEO of Contractor Plus, and joining me as always is Gerritt Bake, CEO of BuildPro. Today we're digging into a trend that's been impossible to ignore across the construction world, one that keeps gaining traction and changing how homeowners think about long-term value. So let's jump into a trend that refuses to calm down, refuses to fade, refuses to peak, and seems to have more momentum than a semi going downhill with bad brakes: metal roofing demand. 5 years ago, if you mentioned metal roofing to a typical homeowner, they pictured barns, sheds, and buildings with tractors parked next to them. Today, they're pointing to Pinterest boards, sending contractors Instagram photos, talking about hidden fasteners like they suddenly became engineers, and asking whether matte black or charcoal looks more modern for their home in suburbia.
Metal roofs used to be the oddball, the only on commercial buildings or only on the cabin outside of town roof. Now it's becoming the flex move in neighborhoods. People are treating metal roofs like the luxury kitchen appliance of exterior finishes. It's no longer, oh, they put a metal roof. Interesting. It's, oh, they put a metal roof on. Must be nice. It carries a status vibe now. It's like driving a regular pickup and rolling past with that diesel growl, chrome accents, and a grill that looks like it could tow a house.
The public perception shift is huge. Metal roofs went from being seen as loud, industrial, or only for specific climates, to being recognized for their durability, energy efficiency, and the fact that they don't curl like shingles do when they've been sun-toasted for a decade straight. And let's be honest, the weather is not calming down. Every region now thinks they have extreme weather. Hailstorms have a fan base. Heat waves stretch longer. Winter storms show up late and angry. That reality is pushing homeowners to look at roofs as investments, not repairs.
And the psychology behind homeownership has shifted too. People used to move every 5 to 7 years. Now, many are planning to stay put. When you think long term, suddenly the idea of paying once instead of twice or 3 times makes sense. The concept of value changes when the plan is stability. A metal roof says, we're not going anywhere. A shingle roof sometimes says, we're trying to patch it until the housing market stops being insane.
There's a cultural influence at play too. Home design trends have gone modern. Sleek lines, minimalist features, black windows, wood accents. Metal roofing fits that aesthetic. It's like when stainless steel appliances hit the kitchen market. At first, only high-end homes had them. Then everyone wanted them. Then people with older homes tried to update everything else to match, because once the appliance changed, the rest of the room felt outdated. A metal roof has that effect on curb appeal. The house suddenly looks newer even if nothing else changed.
Contractors feel this shift on the front end. The inquiries are different now. They're not asking, is metal more expensive? They're asking, is stand seam really that much better? They're not asking, does metal last longer? They're asking, how many years are we talking? The conversation matured. Consumers did their homework. That means contractors have to speak with confidence or risk sounding outdated in a market that doesn't care what was true in 2002.
Demand is being driven by both sides, homeowners seeking durability and roofing companies realizing that metal projects change their business model. Higher ticket, longer lifespan, fewer callbacks. But it also means higher skill requirements, more precise installation, and longer sales cycles because customers want to understand what they're buying. The roof used to be something customers hoped insurance would cover. Now it's something they're intentionally investing in. That is a massive narrative shift.
And the competition looks different too. When everyone offered shingles, everyone fought over price. When metal becomes the desired product, contractors suddenly differentiate by expertise, not discounts. When the neighbor gets a metal roof and posts it online, it's advertising contractors didn't pay for. Nothing markets a metal roof better than a metal roof shining in the sun or looking slick during a thunderstorm.
Let's not ignore the practical reality. Maintenance and longevity matter more now. Nobody wants a surprise repair. People are budgeting differently, planning differently, even borrowing differently. They'd rather finance something once than keep reacting every 10 years. People used to say roofs are just part of homeownership. Now they're saying, can I buy something that stops being a problem?
Contractors also talk about efficiency. Installing shingles in heat that feels like anger from the sun is a different world. Labor shortages aren't going away. Skilled crews are harder to find. Metal roofing sometimes allows roofing companies to maximize fewer crews by focusing on quality instead of volume.
But let's not make it sound like a fairy tale. This trend isn't slowing, but it comes with challenges. Customer education isn't optional. People think metal roofs solve every problem known to mankind. Some think they're tornado-proof, ice-proof, soundproof, and can stop meteors like a Marvel movie. Contractors have to explain reality while keeping excitement alive, which is a skill in itself.
And the price conversation still exists. Metal roofs are investments, not impulse purchases. Finishes, panels, coatings, it's an education driven sale. But here's the twist: homeowners who understand why metal costs more often respect the contractor more. The challenge is the gap between curiosity and clarity. The contractor who bridges that gap wins the project.
Metal roofing demand isn't hype, and it's not temporary. It's a trend driven by weather, design, durability, and mindset. And contractors who treat it as a passing craze might be watching the roof market change while they keep selling yesterday's narrative.
Next, we're going deeper into the reasons this trend has staying power, not just because it looks good, but because it changes the math of homeownership and the business model of roofing companies.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a short break. And hey, if you're a contractor looking to scale your business without adding more chaos, check out Contractor Plus. It's the only app you'll ever need to run your business from start to finish. CRM, estimates, invoices, and payments. Everything contractors need to manage jobs, stay organized, and grow their business in one place. Win more work, save time, and run a smarter operation with Contractor Plus. We are back, and let's dig into why this metal roof demand isn't just staying steady. It's growing like it's fueled by a mix of homeowner anxiety, design evolution, and a little bit of social proof sprinkled in from every direction. Because there's something fascinating here. Trends usually rise, peak, and then fade. But metal roofs seem to be doing the opposite. Rising, and rising more. Like they got a gym membership and actually used it.
That's the part that surprises a lot of traditional contractors. They expected it to be a fad, something the design world raved about for a minute and then moved on from, like shiplap walls or sinks shaped like salad bowls. Instead, metal roofing became practical fashion. Homeowners like the look, but they love the benefit. And when you combine those two, style and substance, that trend gets legs.
And the timing is critical. Homeowners are smarter buyers today because everything has reviews. You don't just buy a blender anymore, you investigate it like it's a suspect in a crime. People research roofing material the same way they research televisions, cars, and diets. They're gathering data, they're comparing, they're looking at life expectancy. And when someone realizes they may buy 3 asphalt roofs in their lifetime, but only 1 metal roof, the math starts to create conviction.
Especially with how long people stay in homes now. The old mindset was, we'll probably sell in 5 years, so why invest? Now people say, we'll probably stay for 15 years, so invest once. A metal roof becomes not just a roof, it becomes peace of mind. Single decision, single cost, single install, long-term benefit.
Another angle, environmental awareness. It doesn't matter where someone sits politically, nobody wakes up saying, man, I hope we fill more landfills this year. Metal is recyclable. Metal reduces waste. Metal helps with cooling efficiency. And energy bills impact people emotionally because it's the one bill that feels personal. When your electric bill drops, you feel smart. When your electric bill spikes, you feel punished.
There's also this community effect. One home gets a metal roof, and suddenly the whole street starts looking at their shingles differently. It's like that moment one person in the neighborhood buys a pressure washer, and the next thing you know, everyone's sidewalk is sparkling. A metal roof makes other homes look dated, and nobody wants the dated house unless the price is dated too, which it's definitely not.
Contractors are noticing something else. Homeowners are initiating the conversation now. It's not the contractor trying to upsell. It's the homeowner saying, "We're thinking about metal. Tell us more." Whenever the customer starts the conversation, demand is real. That's how solar evolved. That's how smart home devices evolved. When the customer drives the curiosity, the market is changing.
But this trend also reshapes the business model for roofing companies. When your jobs are higher ticket and fewer callbacks happen, your revenue becomes less frantic and more controlled. You're not running crews reacting to storms and wind claims week after week. You're building scheduled, predictable, intentional pipelines. That changes cash flow and culture.
Here's something people don't mention: the pride factor for crews. Installing a metal roof feels like building something premium, and crews take pride in premium. When you're done and look at the house, it feels like accomplishment, not just completion. That energy carries into the work environment. If the finished product looks excellent, the team wears that confidence into the next project.
The flip side, though, the skill curve. You can't throw someone on a metal roof install because they helped their roommate put up a ceiling fan. Precision matters. Panels have to line up. Seams need to be flawless. Flashing is art. Training becomes mandatory, but training builds teams, and teams build companies. It's more investment, but it's more professional, and professionalism is the theme here.
Homeowners are tired of reactive repairs, tired of patch jobs, tired of walking into their attic and playing the guessing game of whether that dark spot is a stain or a warning. When the roof turns from worry into asset, from risk to reward, the buying psychology changes.
So, if this demand is rising because of longevity, style, environmental awareness, and math, those aren't trend based reasons. Those are structural reasons. Trends fade because they're emotional. This movement is financial, logical, visual, and practical. That's four legs under a table. It's not tipping soon.
And when demand becomes cultural identity, that's when trends solidify. People say, "That neighborhood has metal roofs. That builder specializes in metal." It becomes part of the story. You don't sell a metal roof, you sell belonging to the modern standard.
After the break, we'll close out this episode talking about the future, how metal roofs fit into technology upgrades, resale value narratives, and why contractors who embrace this now may separate from competitors in ways that become difficult to catch later.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a short break. And hey, if you're a contractor looking to scale your business without adding more chaos, check out Contractor Plus. We're back. And now we're looking at what this metal roof movement means for the future, not just in demand, but in reputation, resale, technology adoption, and the long-term perception of what a roof should be. Because that's really the turning point here. Metal roofing isn't just winning more projects, it's redefining homeowner expectation.
And that's where the shift becomes permanent. When expectations change, the market changes. Homeowners are starting to view roofs as more than protection. They're seeing them as features. The same way granite became a feature, stainless steel became a feature, double pane windows became a feature. Metal roofs are entering that territory where people sell their home by mentioning it in the listing description. Metal roof installed in 2024 is becoming a value signal the same way new HVAC used to be.
Real estate agents are even pushing it. They're learning how to speak the language. Low maintenance, energy saving, long-term protection. When your roofing material becomes a talking point in a sales pitch, that's not a trend, that's a standard forming. And sellers love anything that offsets objections. Homebuyers walk through houses looking for what's wrong. A metal roof whispers, or maybe shouts, "Not this part."
Technology is pushing this further. Solar integration is becoming mainstream. Battery backups are standard in some states. When energy moves from the utility company to the homeowner's roof and garage, the surface that holds that equipment becomes part of the infrastructure. And metal roofs handle the load, the mounting, the temperature, and the lifespan better than materials meant to last half as long. People are thinking ahead for the first time.
That's the part no one saw coming. Solar installers love metal roofs. They're cleaner to install on, they're more secure, and they don't get replaced halfway through solar panel lifespan. The conversation changes from, will the roof support solar, to metal roof plus solar, how long does that system last together? Suddenly, it's not just the roof, it's part of the home's energy identity.
And speaking of identity, contractors who adopt metal early are positioning themselves differently. They're no longer simply roofing companies, they're solution providers. They're selling long term value. They're speaking the language of investment and future proofing. That sets them apart from the contractors still advertising cheapest reshingle in town. It's not the same playing field anymore.
This doesn't mean traditional roofs disappear. Asphalt isn't vanishing from Earth, but the demand ceiling for metal keeps rising, and the ceiling for traditional reshingle work is lowering. It's like owning a taxi company the year before rideshare apps launched. The work didn't disappear overnight, but the identity of the industry evolved.
And evolution is what separates companies that scale from companies that stall. When contractors embrace metal roofing, they're not just adjusting their product, they're adjusting their posture. They become educators, they become advisors, they become the guide in a decision customers want to feel confident about. And confidence is priceless in high ticket sales.
One of the most powerful outcomes of the shift is the type of customer it attracts. Metal roofing tends to attract the customer who thinks long term, the planner, not the panicker, the homeowner with vision, not the homeowner calling in crisis because a storm exposed procrastination. And working with customers like that shapes the culture of your business.
It also shapes the pride your team feels. Metal roofs look impressive from the street or the drone photo. Crews take pride in showing that off. It makes recruiting easier. It makes retention stronger. People enjoy building something that lasts. They like pointing at something years later and saying, "We did that and it's still flawless."
So the real question, why isn't this trend slowing? It's not slowing because it's no longer a trend. It's a solution that aligns with long-term thinking, modern design, energy evolution, and a buyer mindset that values durability and confidence.
The roofing companies that hesitate, the ones waiting for demand to dip, may realize too late that the market didn't spike, it shifted, and it's not waiting for them to decide.
Homeowners don't just want a roof, they want value wrapped in steel, design wrapped in protection, confidence wrapped in longevity. They want the problem solved permanently, not patched temporarily.
And that's the future of contracting. Not selling repairs, selling reassurance. Metal roofs are reassurance you can see from the driveway.
The trend isn't slowing because homeowners aren't slowing. Their expectations rise every year, and contractors either rise with them or get priced out of relevance.
This has been Hard Hat Chat. Metal roofing is more than material, it's momentum. And momentum rarely asks permission.
We'll see you in the next episode.